Hello, and welcome to the Living Scary podcast.
The podcast where we talk about real-to-real horror so you can live vicariously through us.
I'm a wretched pustule with horrible things crawling inside, Logan, and I like to watch and talk about horror movies.
And I'm a sausage maker, McCall, and I like to talk about true crime and murder. Yeah.
Have you watched the new John Mulaney bit on Netflix on Neatly?
The one where he talks about the
his business,
his cocaine.
His cocaine.
Yes, and I loved it.
I thought it was great. Also, not to be like, I saw him live back before it got recorded. No big deal or anything.
It was that bit.
It was that. Yeah, I watched it live before, but I watched it when he was still kind of fine tuning it. So some of the jokes didn't necessarily hit like they did in the bit because he was still kind of working on, what's the delivery? What does the
audience need from me?
Yeah. Especially the audience work. There was a very awkward audience work bit that he did in the one that I saw when he came to Minnesota, where he was like, has anyone ever been to rehab? And there was a
whoa.
That was
muted laughs for Xanax. More like
whoa. But yeah, no, it was really good, and it was really cool to kind of see those jokes get done. But the reason I brought it up was because I was in my intro, the wretched thing. He was like, my brother looks down at this horrid thing. I don't know why, but that got me the fuck together both times I've watched it. Just the delivery of it.
I love him. And I was watching it and I was like, this is great. They're still hitting. And then I was like, but I don't think Grandma will like it.
And she did not.
And she watched it. Aw.
I think she did. I think, if I remember correctly, I think she did.
For the audience,
she did not.
The New Kid in Town John Mulaney stand-up routine is God tier. Our grandma loves it so much. And I just was
mostly because of the Delta thing, because our family flies Delta a lot because Mormon.
Because we're Delta. Wait, do Mormons like Delta?
Well, that's one of the only airlines that goes to Utah. That's why our families had to. It feels wrong.
Yeah, there's a big hub in Utah, though.
I feel like my information's wrong, but for whatever reason, I know that our family, for whatever reason, to get to Utah has always flown Delta, and they always hate it, and they always batch.
And they never change their ways.
And they never change. They don't decide let's see if Southwest has some flights. They're always all right, it's Delta, I guess.
You're a little fat girl, aren't you?
You're a little fat. No.
We have that experience every time. And it just got our grandma together. But this one had too much cocaine.
Too much drug talk. I mean, for her. For me, it was fine.
Oh, for me, I was like, this is the perfect amount of cocaine.
Well, because I think it was a very classy, as far as I think it could be, way to kind of air the dirty laundry without being disrespectful. He didn't bring up his divorce at all.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
No, I think he was very respectful in that manner of kind of keeping that behind closed doors. I mean, for all we know, there could have been an NDA to be you are not allowed to talk about me anymore in your stand-up bits.
Yeah, I mean,
because I know when Gabriel Iglesias split with his partner, they did have not an NDA. That's not the word I was looking for, but they had an agreement where it's you are no longer able to talk about me.
That's weird to think about. I get it, but damn, that's weird. Also, what are you talking about? Or do you want to do the how are you doing?
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't want to be a dick, but you're fanning yourself very gaily right now, and that fan clicks. I can hear it. You moved it farther away from the mic. It's hot.
I shut the door and it's hot. And I open the window and it's hot. And I'm a fat bitch and it's hot.
It's hot.
What's it like to be thin and cool all the time?
Are you asking the sweatiest girl alive?
No, I'm not.
Because then my arms are going to sweat and my boobs are going to sweat.
And it's going to meet in the middle. No, I'm not asking you because I know that you and I both sweat about the same amount.
We are so sweaty. What's
so sweaty?
wrong with us?
Dad sweats a lot.
Sorry, Dad.
Mom sweats a normal amount.
I think. I don't know. All I know is I've never gone a day without being yeah, that's a lot of sweat rolling down my tummy.
I sweat, okay? I think I've told the story about when I worked at Wells Fargo and I told them I can't wear a suit jacket anymore.
I feel like I've definitely heard it, but why don't you recount it for the audience?
Well, this is just how sweaty I am. I literally took a suit jacket off, and I had a button-up shirt on. It was blue. It was like a dark blue, so you could really see the sweat. From like, I'd probably say my forearm to my armpit down to like my love handle was just sweat. And like to the point where like everyone looked at me and they were like, Logan, are you okay? Are you having like a medical issue? And I'm like, no, this is just how much I sweat when you force me to wear a suit jacket. And so I refused to wear a suit jacket from then on.
See, I am the opposite, where it is 85 degrees outside. And
Degrees?
Degrees. And I'm rolling up to work in like a winter sweater. Like just the hottest clothing I can find because the AC vent is right on me. And I am a woman. And I don't know what it is about women, but we're just always fucking cold. And I'm cold all day. And then I walk outside and my like makeup melts off my face. And I'm like so hot in the car ride home. And I'm like, can it just not all be normal?
Yeah, no, I don't get what it is about. Because I would say a lot of the girlfriends that I have, they're always cold.
We're cold.
It's the hottest time. It's like the hottest. And they're like, I'm so cold. And I'm just like, really? Because I'm dying. I'm so hot, I'm going to have a heat stroke.
It's just if I'm inside. When the AC is a factor, I'm cold. But if I'm outside, I'm sweaty. So there's no beautiful in between. I've never been in weather. Like, you know, in movies where people have those cute outfits on where they have like jeans and like a cute little jacket, but like not very warm. It's like just like a throw over jacket.
It's like a fashion jacket.
I've never been in weather where that's an option. Like either the jacket is to keep me from having frostbite or I have to wear a tank top because your skin will bubble.
That's Minnesota.
Yeah, do other places
except for maybe like the month in fall that we have and like the 2 week. I swear, spring gets shorter and shorter every fucking year in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It gets shorter. It just is a blip. It's a zit on the butt of the tiniest amoeba. And fall, we at least get a little more fall. I'd say we get a solid maybe like 2 months of fall.
Whoa.
On a good year. Because I'd say we get September, October, and then the second October's over, it's winter.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, this is too much weather talk. Now we're into the what are you talking about, Logan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Guess what? It's our wildcard episode.
Yeah, it's a wildcard episode because well, Charlie kind of actually pointed out that there might be more of a through line than we had once heretofore had thought. But we will go from there.
We're calling it our wild card episode. I want to put a gif up of Charlie being the wild card.
Wild card.
I've already thought about it.
Should I get a picture of our Charlie and be like, wild card?
Do the thing. I want to have Charlie recreate the picture of him talking about Pepe Sylvia.
Oh, yes.
That'd be funny.
Yes. I absolutely. All right. So I'm talking about the movie Jungle. This movie came out in This movie came out in a time. It came out in 2017. I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
I'm getting old to the point where it's like anytime I eat anything now, I'm like heartburn. Oh, it's happening.
That's
heartburn.
it.
I ate fucking mild chicken salad
Wow.
in a croissant. And I'm like, oh, I got a little heartburn. I'm like, why? Why?
Why is this me now?
Yeah, I don't know. But it was so it's Jungle. Came out in 2017. It is actually based on a true story.
Wait, for real?
Yeah,
I could have done
real.
a straight up true story on this bitch?
Yeah. It's based on a true story.
Wow, we really missed our shot.
Well, because I figured this one's based so much on a true story that there'd be no point in you talking about it. Because it's not like Cocaine Bear where it's like a fancification of it. This one from what I understand is pretty accurate.
All right.
pretty accurate from what I understand, because it's based on a book of a guy who lived this experience. So I think it's pretty accurate.
All right.
But we got director Greg McLean. Writers are Yossi Ginsburg, which is the guy who wrote the book, who experienced this in real life.
All right.
And Justin Monjo, I assume that he would be the one who was kind of adapting it for screen. Star-wise, we got, I don't know, we have a little actor, I don't know if you ever heard of him, by Daniel Radcliffe.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Harry Potter is dead. We've got a couple of the people. We got Thomas Kretschmann, and I was kind of looking, and he's been in a lot of things that I've seen. I just can't place him in any of those things. But like, he's been in a lot of stuff, so you'd probably recognize him if you'd see him. Yeah, like, I'm just kind of looking through his stuff, and he's been in a lot of things. But I've been trying to find one that I'm like, yes, we would definitely all know him from this one.
He looks like Discount Hannibal.
Oh yeah, he was in King Kong way back when in 2005.
Never
seen. I don't remember who he was in that one.
Oh, he's in Westworld.
Yeah, I don't know who he was in Westworld.
Hey, you watched Westworld, damn.
I did.
All right, cool.
Just the first season. Well, anyway, he's here. And he does a good job. And then we have Alex Russell, Joel Jackson, and those are really going to be like our main people. We do also have other people, but in terms of main cast, those are our babies. And I'll just hop into it. I'm gonna be real. This one is gonna probably be a little shorter because I have this ridiculously long and detailed synopsis, but that's not what's important to this. Me reading the play-by-play for this is not gonna do it for you. I recommend highly watching this movie. It is on Hulu. Watching how everything happens is really interesting. So basically, it follows the story of Yossi, who is from, I believe, Israel.
Is Yossi Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes, Daniel Radcliffe. We have Kevin, who is an American, and he's like a backpacker, photographer person. We have Marcus, who's like a Swiss kind of backpacker. And they are kind of all traveling through South America together. And not like they like know each other super great, but they meet each other when they get there, and they form a friendship.
Travelers bond.
Travelers bond. And they meet this guy named Carl. And Carl, he approaches Yossi, and he's like, "Hey, are you American?" And Yossi, and then it kind of flips to him kind of telling Yossi about how he's like, "I'm a guide who can lead you into the jungles of South America, into the Amazon jungle, and you can meet some local tribes and people who I'm friends with," and da 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 da. And Yossi's immediately like, "Let's do it." And everyone else is kind of like, "Girl, I don't know about all this." Like, especially Marcus. Marcus was kind of like, I don't know. But they do, Yossi does end up managing to convince them all to go. And really, the entire adventure is them kind of being led through the jungle by Carl, who is, he's interesting. So they're on this mission to find this lost tribe that Carl is supposedly friends with. And throughout the adventure, Kevin is taking photos. Marcus, they eventually get to this tribe to like restock and supply. It's not this lost tribe. It's a different group of people. And they kind of Marcus gives some medical care to some of the locals. They do have like this nice moment of levity. And they head back into the jungle, and that's where things start to go a little crazy. Where like Marcus shoots like a monkey and they roast it. It's not like Cannibal Holocaust where they kill animals on screen and then eat them.
Thank you.
So it's not that, but it's like, it's still uncomfortable. And one thing that the first problem that we run into is that Marcus starts to have issues with his footsies. He starts to get like lesions almost on his feet from walking. And like being in like wet socks, you get that. What's that condition?
That's
like getting
bad.
Wet. Yeah, so his feet are looking really bad. And it gets to the point where they're like, we need to do something. And they're like, all right, because Marcus can't move anymore. We need to, and they're like, okay, well, let's go and we'll travel down the river in the
No.
Amazon. And Carl's like, I don't know about all that because it's crazy rapids and it's not the move. And
Let's
they're like,
make
well, we're
Marcus's
doing
feet
it.
even more wet.
Yeah. But they end up going down the river in a raft that they construct themselves.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And they they go down this river and it very quickly becomes like there's that macho struggle between Carl, who is like this, like, I'm the guide, I know what I'm talking about, I've been through these jungles. And you have Kevin, who's like, I've been backpacking across the Americas forever. I also know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And so it's like this kind of back and forth about like what the proper way to do things is. They get into a small little tiff. Yasi kind of like pulls them off and goes, girls, you're both pretty. But it very much becomes like a couple things. One, Carl does not want to travel with Kevin anymore. Yasi wants to keep going on this trip because he very much has like this thing to prove. He has like this soul mission that he's trying to like achieve. Like Carl is like, and Marcus can't go on.
And Marcus
because
is like,
of his
my
feet. And he feels bad because he feels like he's holding his friends up. And basically they come to the conclusion that like, so Kevin and Yasi are like, yo, we want to keep going down this river. We want to keep doing this adventure through the jungle. Carl can fuck off. But what are we going to do about Marcus? And Kevin is like, we can't travel with Marcus because he's a liability at this point.
Let's kill Marcus.
And Yassi's like, well, we can't just leave Mark. We can't just tell Marcus that he can't come with us because he will feel bad and he wants to like come with us. And
His feet don't work.
Yasi basically goes and pulls this 3D chess shit. And he goes over and he's like, hey, so, you know, you're not looking that good. I think the best way for us to do is to split up. Two of us go that way. One of us goes with Carl. One of us goes with Kevin. And Marcus is like, well, Marcus is like, well, Kevin doesn't like me. And
you're right.
Like, and he plays it so smooth where basically he gets Marcus to go with Carl because Carl is going to this secret tribe and he knows this way on foot to get there in 3 days. And then Yasi and Kevin are going to go down this fucking river rapids. And that's how that, like, and so that's kind of what happens.
But Marcus should go to a doctor.
Which is why they're going to, like, they're like saying, like, it's probably best if he goes with Carl so they can get to this tribe so that they can get to a doctor.
Okay.
But basically, they split up, they split their supplies, and they go down the river. Yasi and Kevin are enjoying the ride for about 10 minutes. And then basically they hit a river rapids, and Kevin and Yasi are separated. To the surprise of no one.
Sorry.
Kevin!
I've wanted to do that since you said his name was Kevin.
Yasi then basically goes on the wildest fucking adventure. He wakes up on a shore. He's traveling. He's going around. It's the rainy season, so it's raining like crazy. He has this giant, like, at first you think it's a welt because he knocks his head on a rock in the river, but the welt starts to move, and he eventually has to like open the wound and he pulls out like these parasites that are like, and it's on his forehead. So he's like pulling these things out.
What the fuck are they?
I don't know. I cannot remember. Like they were like worms. They're like worm-like parasites. They were so. It was like no. I was like at first I was like, oh my god, it's spiders. It's spiders. But it wasn't. It was just worms. It was just worms.
It was just worms.
And like he goes through some crazy shit. Like he stumbles across like a nest on the ground that has some like bird eggs in it. And he cracks open the eggs, and the eggs have like they're not like yolks. It's like it's bird fetus.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, down the hatch, and
chomp,
he eats
chomp.
like he chomps on these bird feti, this embryo. He eats both of them.
I mean, that is a delicacy.
Yeah, in some places. Not, but and like, I guess at the point that he's at, he is literally desperate.
I would have eaten the parasites in my lump. So
he like has like he ends up going up. He cracks these eggs and leaves them. He goes through this whole like journey. And then he's like, I found a footprint. It's gotta be Kevin. Well, fuck, it turns out it's his own footprint, and he went in a giant circle and ended up back at the blue eggshells of the feet eyes that he just ate.
You dumb baby.
Yeah, it's rough. He goes through a lot of other things. He goes through a major snowstorm, a torrential rainstorm.
There it is.
He eventually starts to hallucinate about like this native woman, and it gets to the point where he's like pouring fire ants on himself to make sure that he like stays awake and cogent enough to get to where he needs to go.
I don't think that's medically the way you should handle that, but
yeah, but that's what he does. He eventually makes his way back to like the part of the river, and is like he's about to pull like a cannibal holocaust and smash a turtle so that he can eat it, but he decides not to. He doesn't do it. I
mean, if you're starving, you can eat a turtle, I guess. That's fine, but
like we're at this point, we're on like day 19. He's been in the jungle by himself for 19 days.
Yeah.
But Kevin, meanwhile, got found by some locals and brought back to their place. And he's like trying to get people. He's like, we need to find Yasi. He's out there. And people are like, hey, yo. And I'm not sure. They basically say, hey, yo, a whitey in the jungle. It's not, he's dead.
He's dead.
Like they're literally like a gringo in the jungle. It's not happening. He's gone. But Kevin eventually convinces this guy to like, please, just like just go, let's go out and look. We'll just make sure. But Yasi has like managed to move like a Y like shape, like a couple logs in the shape of a Y to like kind of like let anybody know that he was there.
Why? Because his name is Yasi, or yes, because that's the easiest? Yasi. Okay,
his name is Yasi.
I don't know. What if it's like the easiest letter he could think of? Like, I don't know.
Well, if your name's Yasi, I mean, the easiest letter I could think of would probably be L.
M's are hard.
M is hard.
I'm not fucking around with that.
L is easy. It's just 2 fucking lines. Like,
yeah. If you see like an M in the forest, I had way too much time on my hands.
Well, so did Yasi. But Yasi eventually he goes off and he kind of like collapses. And Kevin starts getting to the place where Yasi was, and it's the moment where like they pull up the boat and Kevin's looking around where this Y is, and he's like, where is he? And
why is he?
And he eventually is just kind of like, shit. And the guy who was his guide, Tico, kind of like brings him back and is just kind of like, dude, you did everything you could. And they kind of go back to their boat and they start to drive away. And at that moment, Yasi kind of stands up and starts walking towards the river edge. And he's like, Kevin. And right as they're about to turn the corner, Kevin turns around and sees Yasi. And he's like, it's the moment, it's fully the Lord of the Rings where it's like, Yasi. And they turn around, they pick up Yasi and they bring him back. They take him back to the village with Tico and Kevin. They get some aid. And then we kind of get and that's kind of where the movie ends. And then we kind of get the real life things. And Kevin and Yasi made it back to La Paz. Here's the twist. Carl and Marcus were never seen again.
No.
Yep. Kevin searched for them for weeks. He was unable to find any trace of them. They were never heard from again. It was Carl turned out was wanted by the authorities, Interpol, and had taken other travelers on treks like this before. There was no lost tribe. He fabricated that. And nobody knows why. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows why Carl picked Yasi and his group, lead them in the jungle. Nobody knows what he did to Marcus or why or what happened to him and where Carl ended up going away to. And then of course
he probably just killed Marcus and like got a new identity somewhere. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That would be my guess. Or they're both dead. You know.
Yeah, or they both died somehow. So that's kind of like the big twist there is like and this is real life, Marcus and Carl
they didn't put that in the movie.
No, they didn't put that part in the movie. They left that to the end to kind of be like, whoa. I think they kind of wanted it to be like kind of a twist. because they didn't know what happened to Marcus or Carl. So how could they they didn't want to fabricate something. They didn't want to show something that didn't happen to this person.
It just ends with someone being like, so where's Marcus? And then it just hard cuts.
Hard cut. No, they kind of go off and they start to show pictures of the real thing. So they show the pictures of Tico, Kevin, and Yasi days after the rescue. And Yasi is, I shit you not, and Daniel Radcliffe also, skin and bones. That that poor man was probably eating like a peanut and drinking no water to make himself look so thin and emaciated. I was like, yikes. Then they show shots of Kevin and Marcus hiking in the Andes, Kevin backpacking in Peru, Marcus volunteering in Bolivia, Kevin and Yasi in South America. And they do definitely, they basically dedicate the movie to Marcus because they still don't know what happened to him. And he was their friend and they feel really bad that happened. They also do have one black and white photo of Carl, but they're like, we do not know where he is in this picture. We don't know what's going on. Kevin is doing what he loves. He's still a photographer. He has a wife and 2 sons. He also recently wrote his own account of surviving in the jungle. Yasi, after 10 years, he returned to that same river in the Amazon that almost took his life.
Why?
He now calls this place home.
Ew.
He works with the locals to transform the area.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
Continues to be an adventurer across the globe.
Jesus.
And then again, the film ends with the photo of Marcus with the caption "For Marcus."
Oh, well, fuck.
So for all likelihood, rest in peace, Marcus.
Oh man.
And also, Carl, wherever the fuck you are.
What the hell, Carl? Who are you? What did you do? Also, Yasi, balls for going back. I would not go back.
No, I'd definitely be like, stay the fuck away from me.
I would be like, no, I'm going to live in like the lap of luxury for the rest of my life. Like I will never ever go camping again.
I will get my cheese pizza and go to the limousine in New York City.
That's a good movie, by the way. I watched it recently and I cried twice. And I was like,
because it's and both of them are with like the homeless lady and
the nice
the pigeon
lady. She's so sweet, and like her story made me sad, and he just likes her, and I was like, wow. Home Alone 2 is making me cry. What?
Does it take place in Christmas again?
Yeah.
How neglectful is this family?
They're like really rich. They're having weird family vacations, like too many family members.
Okay, and also, can I, like, the thing that bothers me at the first movie, and I know what the point is, like, oh, they're like neglectful parents or whatever. If you, because it is like an uncle, or it's like if one of Charlie's siblings or whatever spoke to my child the way that the uncle is like, you little jerk, I'd be, especially that particular uncle is a dickweed because he's a miserly little piece of shit. Yeah. I'd have been like, you shut the fuck up, you piece of shit.
Get out of my $1 million house. You're not going to France with us.
Don't you talk to my child like that. I will take care of disciplining my child. You take care of your terrible friggin' kids.
Your little pee pants boy.
Yeah, your little piss boy over there.
I love that movie. I'll say it. It's good. And I would physically fight that uncle now.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
Oh, I would go full like Mortal Kombat, like grab his head, spin around and like snap it. Like that man's probably a wizened old man and I'd still beat the shit out of him.
Take him.
He's probably dead.
He's oh, Jesus Christ. It wasn't that old.
Well, it's at least 40 years ago. It was the 80s, right? Or was it the 90s?
Oh my God, time keeps happening. I don't.
Time just keeps slipping. Home Alone. 1990. So, yeah, 33 years.
But
that's enough time for a person to die.
I mean, yeah, he could have gotten into an accident, yes, but like, how old do you think he was in that movie? Like 40?
Where's Uncle Darsh?
Uncle Darsh. I would put him at like 48. And if you
shit, Uncle Frank. Oh no, I think he might be alive.
He's definitely like. Why would you?
He's alive.
He died?
He's alive. Ah!
Yeah, he's alive at probably like 70 or some shit.
He's probably like he's about as old as
he's a spry young man.
Spry. No, there's a story to the Spry thing, but it's not my story to share.
Oh, good. We'll keep that to ourselves.
Well, 1940. Okay, he was born in 1941. He's like 80.
He's
like
an old man.
Yeah, I feel like it's quite fair to believe that he may or may not be passed away.
It's very fair to know that I'd win in a fight against him.
Oh yeah. Now knowing that also, I'm like, I have no problem squaring up.
Yeah. Step up, bro.
I'll just pull his oxygen tube out, I guess. No, I won't kill an old man.
I won't. Unless he's mean to my kid, in which case all bets are off.
Oh, I will end his life.
Yeah, he'll die.
I don't know. I'm very much like, I'm in two minds where it's like one hand it's very much like you can't talk that way to my kid. Only I can talk.
Only I can do that.
Like I will take care of discipline my kid. You try to discipline my kid, I will knock you out.
I've
not
never,
you particularly, McCall, but
thank you. I've never heard someone call someone else a jerk and had it be like biting. But when he says it, you're kind of like, ugh.
He chews on the words.
Ew.
So he like chews
jerk.
It.
I'm like, ugh.
That's the only, like, if someone was like, hey, you're a jerk, I'm like, and?
Yes. Are we 8?
Exactly. It's like, what do you call me next? Butt face? Like, okay.
Oh, man.
Call me an insecure piece of shit, and I'd be like, oh no, you're right.
Oh, you got me. Call me a jerk, and I'll be like, hello. Also, should I pause it while we go refill?
I still have half a drink because I was talking so much, but if you need to refill, go ahead and pause.
I do. I will pause it. Okay, I am back. So.
Yeah.
I am doing the Unabomer. Because guess what? He died. I don't like celebrating a human's death, but like he killed people. So I feel like it's okay.
You know.
Yeah, it's morbid, but that's why you're here. That's why you've made it to the second half of the podcast.
Very true.
So I got my information from Wikipedia. A history documentary called The Unexplained, and the guy that's narrating it is William Shatner, and that was fun. Because, like, the whole time I'm like, that voice sounds so fucking familiar. Who is that? It's just William Shatner.
Who could it possibly be?
Who could it be? I got, like, a CNN a news segment where they interview an FBI official, and it was like, they just restated the whole case. And then the FBI files has...
The FBI?
The FBI files. It is the best thing in the world because the reenactments are so bad that it made me so happy. Like, you know Forensic Files?
Yes.
Me and Casey in college lived together, and we would just sit there and watch episode after episode of Forensic Files. And it was so funny. Me. I fucking love Forensic Files. But so, like, FBI Files, I assume has to be made by the same people. I don't really know. But the Unabomer has a lot of bombs. And every time there was, like, a bomb, it'd just be, like, a video of someone holding a package. And then the bomb would go off. But, like, instead of, like, practical effects, they would just, like, overlay a photo of a video of an explosion.
Oh no.
So it'd be like, boo.
Boom.
And they'd play like the fake explosion noise, and you're like, oh, you didn't need to do the reenactment. Oh, you're okay.
Sir, why did you do that?
There was like, and then like they have the intro sequence, so they're like, just kidding, that's Law and Order SVU. But they're doing their whole intro sequence, and they're doing like little reenactment bits that seem to be part of the Unabomer story, like a guy who's grizzled, he's in a cabin, he's writing stuff, there's numbers on a whiteboard, blah, 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 blah. Like, they're just showing you shit. And then they're showing you just like a snippet of like a guy jumping through a window. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they're showing you another snippet of like a pickup truck pulling up to a stop really quickly, and you're like, what? Why did this make it into the theme?
What are you trying to tell me?
Who chose this footage?
Who did this to us?
Pretty much exactly what I was looking for in documentary. So thank you, FBI files. But Theodore John Kaczynski was born in Chicago in May of 1942. His parents are Wanda Teresa and Theodore Richard Kaczynski. They're both Polish.
Theodore Kazoo.
Theodore named his kid Theodore because I don't know why people do that, but it's fine. Theodore was a sausage maker. What?
Charlie is the third.
The third, yeah.
He's Charlie. Insert last name the third.
It is a thing people do, and I get it. I just don't get it. You know? Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I don't know.
I get it, but I'm also like, I want my own shit. You know? Kids don't want to do hand-me-downs.
Get your own life.
Give me my own name. God damn it. But anyway, so he was really smart. He went to Sherman Elementary School in Chicago. He was described as healthy and well-adjusted, which sounds like when Lilo from Lilo and Stitch is like talking about her normal life. I'm adjusted.
I'm adjusted.
I eat 3 square meals every day.
I haven't seen Lilo and Stitch in so long.
I love that movie so much.
Did you know that there's an anime?
What?
There's an anime and a manga.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now. Lilo and Stitch anime? Question mark. What the hell?
You're welcome.
All right, cool. It's like when I discovered the Powerpuff Girls had an anime.
Oh my god. Okay, so if you want to talk about that,
oh jeez.
Do you watch a YouTuber Saberspark?
No.
I like watching him. And he recently did an episode about Powerpuff Girls Z. And kind of just talked about and he basically said the exact experience that I felt like we had, where it's like we caught rumors and whispers, and we spent I don't know about you, but I spent I was trying to figure out how can I watch this? Where can I find it?
So hard.
And I just saw clips and shit. And then he's like,
I never watched it. I only saw clips.
And then he was talking about and my sisters and I would look for hours and hours to try and find clips of it and he's like, and finally now it is available to watch. You can watch it. And he's like, and it's okay.
No.
And I was like, no, exactly. I was like, no,
fuck.
They were like, basically the complaints was that it didn't capture the same energy that the Powerpuff Girls had.
It's not that guttural, that's,
But the most important thing is that it's not about the Unabomber, so keep talking about
the Unabomber. Yeah. So his family moved to some other place. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of details because this case was such a big deal. So there's a lot of details. If you want to know where he moved the second time of his life, I can get you the address of the house. I was combing through documents like an FBI agent looking for the Unabomber.
Yeah, I would say you were the FBI agent.
I was. So yeah, I don't know. They fucking moved to wherever. I don't care. I wrote it down, but I'm not telling you. When he was in junior high, which is hard, because that's when your body's changing and you're feeling terrible about yourself. And he was so smart that someone's like, let's get his IQ tested. Which, okay, I guess we'll do that. He was 167, which is high for a person. High for an adult. It was a big deal. So they made him he skipped 6th grade. And then he wasn't with people who were his peers anymore. And that kind of fucked him up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a thing about skipping grades. I feel like you need to, it's so hard. Cause there's probably that's I totally get it. If they're not being challenged, that could also lead to problems. But also, it's important to stay with, grow with people your age. Because even like a shift from 4th to 5th grade, fifth graders are on a different level.
They're not the same. Like 4th graders are looking at 5th graders who are just about to go into middle school as if they are adults. Like, I would look at the older kids and be like, wow, what is it like?
See, I looked at when I was a freshman, I looked at seniors in high school. Like, these are adults ready to go into the real world.
That man could own a house and have 2 kids. And now I'm like, look at you, you little baby. Like, so yeah, I don't think you should. I think you should force your smart kid to dumb it down for the rest of us idiots.
Can you just like Dash in the Incredibles, be like, bring it back, bring it back,
dum-dums. Everyone in the world is stupider than you, and you're gonna have to live with this for your whole life.
Because that's the other thing. Because then what happens is we start doing gifted and talented. We start telling kids that they're gifted and talented. And then they end up like us, like total burnouts and just being like, we just are people pleasers that want to be told that we're gifted and talented again.
I wasn't in the gifted and talented programs.
You were gifted and talented.
I was in the I was in the dumb class.
Just for reading. You were smart and everything else.
No, it was math too.
Oh no. Okay,
Mom
so
signed me up for the full package.
All right, so one of us was in the gifted and talented.
She was like, Logan's really smart, but I see her and she's just like me.
But it was smart I was smart at reading a room. I was smart
What do you want to hear?
I was smart at manipulating people.
I wasn't. I was like, what? Do you want me to read these squiggles on this page? Because they keep moving around.
No, now when it came to math, garbage, mama. I am absolute trash garbage. Charlie, I have to hide, like, when I pay for dinner, I'm like, I hide the receipt because I'm like, don't you tell me what the fucking tip is. I can figure out what the tip is. No. Even if I have to bring up my goddamn calculator, I'll figure it out. I know the formula. It's one of the only formulas that I kept from school. Because it's one that I was like, I'll use this on a fucking daily basis, not the quadratic formula.
Yeah, no. Don't bring that up to Brendan, by the way, because he's like, actually, it's really helpful.
Tell you. No, I was saying,
stop.
I knew exactly what you're going to say, because he will tell you exactly when it can be used.
No, it's fucking not.
How useful the Pythagorean theorem actually is. And
it's not, and it can all burn. I don't care.
It can all burn.
I'll never use it. I refuse. He's like, well, what if your kid asks you a question about math? And I'll say, go ask dad. Because
I'll say, go ask Google.
Don't learn it. Just kidding. That'd be bad. That'd be a bad move.
No, I'd be like Linda and be like, all right, so you have a book report. You haven't read the book. All right, we're going to back cover it. We're going to.
I would be like, no, now we have to sit. Because my solution to being an idiot dum-dum was I'll work twice as hard. So I'll be like, hey, cool. We have to stay up all night reading the book you didn't read because you're an idiot and join the club, bro. Anyway, Unabomer.
No, really quick. My real solution would be I'd say like, wow, that's a really bad choice that you made. But sometimes we have to live with the choices that we make. And I'll flip my iPad back up and I'll be like, see you in the morning.
Yikes. Kid's gonna get anxiety.
No, I'm kidding. I'll be nice.
Nice.
I don't know how I'll be as a parent because I'm not ready for it.
I don't either. I think about it sometimes and I'm like, woof. We'll deal with that when it comes to it.
Like, part of me feels like I'd be like so laissez-faire as a parent until the second someone crosses my child, in which case I will polar bear smack their head off of their shoulders.
And we're back to killing that mean uncle.
Yep. And we're back. And no, you know what? We're bringing back to the Unabomer.
The Unabomer. So he went to a high school. He was in all the geeky shit. He was in math club, biology club, coin club, and the German club. So he was getting his head dunked in a toilet constantly.
Oh, no.
Also, what the fuck is coin club? What are you doing?
Like coin collecting?
I guess, but like in the club, are you guys like, look at this coin?
Yeah,
what do you do?
There could be rare coins.
What is the activities of the club, though?
talking about rare coins.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
When is
man.
this? When does this take place again?
Oh god, 19 late probably 1940s at this point. So there's not a lot to do.
So yeah, no, there's no internet or anything.
You're just sitting looking at wallpaper.
You're like, you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, it's the old times.
It's the old times. What is he doing? Reading books? So yeah, also he plays the trombone, if you wanted to know that.
Tromboner.
He also hangs out with other kids that like math, and they were called the Briefcase Boys because they carried their briefcases around.
Okay, I mean, despite the fact that I know what he does and that he's a bad person, that's kind of cute.
It's
They're like
not
friends.
at all cute.
They're
No.
friends.
You transport back to high school and there's a group of weirdos.
Oh, I would mock the
Those
shit out of
briefcase-
them. Oh, I would
Those
ruin their
boys!
lives.
Oh no.
I would
The
ruin their
briefcase
lives,
boys.
but like looking at, I'm like, oh, so good that their friends are all together.
All together, so it's easy to mock all of them at once.
Indeed.
You nerds. And then he skips 11th grade, and then he graduates college at 15. Sorry, not college, high school. And then he goes to Harvard. And
Hey, good.
at 15. So, you know how well adjusted and normal you are at 15. Go off to college away from your parents.
Not only that, but go to motherfucking Harvard.
Go to Harvard. Deal with that.
Have you seen Legally Blonde? It's not an easy scene there.
It's tough. Kids are mean, especially when you're blonde and rich and hot.
It is. You're blonde and rich and hot. It was like, why are they being mean to her? I'd be like, I would zero her in on her and be like, I want to be her best friend.
Best friend. Yes. He skipped so many grades. He wasn't really with kids his own age anymore. He was really weird. He didn't talk to kids.
He's at Harvard and he can't even drive. He's a virgin who can't drive.
Yes. He is. It's just like Clueless.
Yeah.
And then like
It's
the same.
It's the exact same. Little we know, Clueless is a shot for shot recounting of the Unabomber.
If you take a Photoshop picture of the Unabomber's face and you put it on that yellow
Cher.
outfit,
On Cher.
So his roommates and his other students at Harvard say he's smart but socially reserved. He graduates with a bachelor's degree in math in 1962 with a GPA of 3.12, which isn't that good. Like, as someone who graduated with a better GPA.
You were a communications major, bitch.
Just shut the fuck up.
You were not a math major. Put you in a math major and we'll see how that GPA turns out.
That GPA would be she got expelled for being an idiot.
Yeah, there you go. So you can roll that insult right the fuck back to Walmart where you got it for a reasonable price.
Fine.
So
then, fun tidbit. So he's at Harvard. It's his second year. He's in like a study. Like, you know how you can do studies as a poor college kid and they give you money? Like
in the Carols.
I don't know what the hell
library,
you just said.
The library Carols.
What?
With all the upperclassmen.
What?
They're like study places for the upperclassmen. They're called Never mind.
They're called Carols?
Carols. Carrels. Carols.
I pictured a bunch of seniors like singing Christmas carols in a library.
No.
And I was like, what? No, but like, it's like one of those psych studies that you can like volunteer to be a part of and they'll pay you.
Yeah.
So, okay, the study is you write an essay on like a personal belief system thing and then, or like an aspiration or some shit. I don't know. Then you're having a conversation with another person. That other person is like confronting you and belittling you and using the information they got from your essay that you wrote earlier as like fodder to just like really dig into you as a person and be like, you fucking suck because you said this, you bitch. And they have like, the subject has electrodes put on their face, and then they're shown a tape of them getting their shit tossed. And like, they're like, look at you being a little bitch. Here, let me rewind it a little bit. And then just like watch your face as this guy calls you a motherfucker. And like, they just do that for a long, long time, over and over and over again. And Ted was in 200 hours of this study. So I don't know if he was getting like mocked and belittled for 200 hours or if he was watching footage of him getting mocked and belittled for 200 hours, but like, it's a weird study. And some say that this study was a part of the MK Ultra program. So, but I feel like I probably talked about this because we did an episode on MK Ultra.
Yes, we did.
So maybe I brought that up. I don't recall, but he was maybe in it, depending on the source. So that's cool. Anyway, he enrolled in college at the University of Michigan. He got a master's and doctorate in math. He becomes an assistant professor at the University of California, Berkeley. And everybody hates his guts. Because he can't talk to people, and he's really weird, and all the students don't like him.
And he's a professor.
He's a professor. So, like, he doesn't like people. So he's one of those professors where you're like, hey, sir, what? And he's like, no, shut the fuck up. No, you just keep going with the math. And no one knows what you're talking about, and you won't socialize. You don't have office hours. Like, he sucks. And he quits in 1969. And then he's like, I'll get a cabin in the woods in Lincoln, Montana, and I'll live alone, away from anyone, and that'll be my life. So that's what he does. He gets this cabin. It has no electricity. It has no running water. He has like...
Sounds lovely.
It's gross. It's nasty up in that bitch. He like takes odd jobs to like pay for food, I assume. He gets a lot of money from his family to survive. He describes how like he goes out on a hike one day and like he gets this little tiny cabin. It's like a tiny cabin too. And he has it and he loves it. He's loving his sad little hermit life. And that's cool for him. But then he starts to like see people hiking and like biking around and like being in his business. And he doesn't like that. And one day he takes like a hike and he goes to an area in the forest that he really likes. And they like built a road through it. And he's like, that's the last straw. I'm going to burn it all down. And he starts just mailing out bombs. So
that's one way. That's one way.
That is his answer to the system. So he starts mailing bombs. In total, he killed 3 people. He injures 23 other people. He sends 16 bombs in total. And a lot of the bombs have FC like hidden in them somewhere. And that stands for Freedom Club, which like, that's so nerdy.
Yeah. He clearly has not outgrown that.
The Briefcase Boys are still in effect.
The Briefcase Boys. The Beanie Boys.
The Beanie Boys.
From fucking Chalk Zone. Beanie Boy, Beanie Boys.
Shit.
We're the boys. We're Scrawls Boys.
Oh no. That's going to be stuck in my head all night.
Do you know how often I say that to myself? Beanie Boys, Beanie Boys.
It's just like me sitting at my desk being like, tootin' mean age needle teetles. Over and over.
O'Reilly.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the first bomb was sent to Buckley Christ, a professor at Northwestern University. It's like a package that's addressed from Crisp to someone else, and it's just like in a parking lot. And so the return address is Christ. So they bring it back to him and they're like, "Your package, sir?" And he's like, "First of all, I didn't send this. I don't know who this is to." He brings it to the campus police, like, "What the hell?" And they open it and it explodes. But there's minor injuries. I don't know how minor, because some of these minor injuries are people like losing eyeballs and shit. So, I'm also not going to go through every bombing because there's 16 of them. So I'm just going to do a couple. So if you want to read about all of them, they're very highly written about. This is a lot of information. So go for it. Do your research.
Do it.
Go. So his second bomb was 1 year later. He also sends it to Northwestern again, so he really fucking hates that university.
Yeah, what's the issue?
John
He doesn't
Harris.
like their football.
Yeah, he sends them only to universities and airlines. Fun fact: what do you think? Why do you think he was named the Unabomer?
Because he bombs universities?
Yes, I always heard the Unabomber, and I did not know like where the name came from. I just thought it was his serial killer name.
Oh, I didn't know until you explained that he was sending bombs to universities, and I was like, oh, Unabomber.
Oh, there we go.
Gotcha.
It is an acronym for University and Airline Bomber.
University and airline?
I don't know how it works. All I know is
so it's not UNI bomber.
Yeah.
It's UA.
No, it's UNABOM. I don't know how the fuck it works out. I know
so they do it like fucking like D&D where it's like Dungeons and Dragons where
they're like
university and airline. So it's UNA bomber.
It stands for university and airlines, but they like made it look cool altogether.
It's Unabomber, not Unibomber.
Yes. So when I
always heard Unabomber and I just assumed UNI.
Yes, it is Una.
Unabomber.
Bonner.
Matt Bomer.
So yes, the second bomb caused minor injuries to a grad student named John Harris. In 1979, he places a bomb in a cargo hold of an American Airlines flight. The bomb doesn't go off, but it causes like smoke to fill the cabin. They have to do an emergency landing. It's like a whole big deal. Also, the fact that he could get a bomb on the cargo hold of a plane is crazy. But again, you could do whatever you wanted in an airline before 9/11, I assumed. I don't know. I wasn't alive then, but like, you could walk around with cigarettes and bombs and knives and shit, and they'd be like, "Sir?" So he then sends a nail and splinter bomb in 1985, which kills Hugo Scranton, who found the package in front of his computer store. And yeah. So I specifically did like a little paragraph on the actual deaths that occurred, because in the beginning he does a lot of bombs that cause minor injuries that I don't feel are very minor, because they're like losing eyes and like hearing and parts of your face and shit. But they like gradually escalate in severity. I think the more practice he gets and the more damage he does and more notoriety he gets, he wants to make the bombs bigger. Mm-hmm. So 1985, the bomb kills Hugo Scranton. He basically just finds a bomb. Well, he finds a package in his parking lot for his store. He goes and picks it up and it blows up and he dies. And then 1994, Thomas J. Mosser is killed when he gets a bomb in his mail. He lives in New Jersey. Ted writes to the New York Times that he killed Thomas Mosser because Thomas worked for the he did the Exxon Valdez oil spill.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the people who worked for the PR firm that was kind of trying to get them back in good graces.
Because that was not great.
That was bad. And Ted's big thing, I wrote Ted so I'm calling
Ted.
I'm calling the Unabomer Ted. His whole big thing was the environment and technology and industrialism is ruining the world and should be stopped. So a lot of his stuff is geared towards airlines and universities, but it's got a weird environmentalist spin on it. Two of his victims, their last names are Wood, and they think that it's because it goes along with this weird environmentalism thing that he chose them to send the packages to them.
Well, and this is kind of why I was saying ooh, it kind of does have a tie to my movie, was because Carl, at least in the movie, I don't know if this is how he really was in life because God knows where the fuck he is right now. But in the movie, he was very much characterized as technology is killing us. We just need to people can't be in charge because they're fallible. It was a unique situation that he found himself in, where he was put a supercomputer in charge of creating laws and shit, and then just let the rest of us live our lives. And I'm I don't know about that. I don't know about that part. But and that Charlie was kind of pointing out that's kind of where actually the movie and our thing kind of syncs up a little bit.
Then yeah, based on that, yes. Let's see. Gilbert Brent Murray was killed by a bomb addressed to a timber industry lobbying group for the California Forestry Association. I don't know. Basically, he sent something to this forestry association. Murray was the current CEO, and it was addressed to the last CEO. And so he just opened it, and it exploded. He was gone. They were finding pieces of him. So the amount of escalation, this is towards the end, is very prevalent in how much more explosive things got.
Both literally and
yes. So Ted is mailing out letters to newspapers saying, I want you to publish my 35,000 word manifesto and you should do it. And Penthouse was we'll do it. And Ted was
Penthouse. Penthouse
was we're on it. And Ted was oh, not you though. I don't want that.
Everyone except for you.
And so and he's I'll kill people if you don't post it. And the FBI was you should let him do it. And so
let him kill people?
No, they were post it. You should publish the manifesto, because the FBI has been trying to find him forever. He started this shit. He's almost been doing this for 2 decades. The first bomb was sent out in 1978. And the time that they post his essay is 1995. So he has been sending out bombs for a long time. And the FBI has been on his case pretty much since, in the beginning, they were yeah, people are mailing bombs, whatever. But then the airline thing happened, and they were
people
what?
Be doing that.
That happens. So they're trying to find him. And so they're someone's got to post the stupid manifesto because we don't want him to send another bomb.
Someone's got to break.
It can't be Penthouse.
And please not Penthouse, for the love of God.
So, the Washington Post finally breaks and they're like, fine, we'll fucking do it. And they post it in September 19th of 1995. The manifesto states that technology and the Industrial Revolution have tainted humanity, made life unfulfilling, have caused psychological suffering, which, like...
Is he wrong?
Yeah,
okay, so he was like the first to be like, capitalism, not what it's cracked up to be.
I hate it. Yeah, like I was reading
his method of going about it, not it.
You can't kill people, Carl. Like
that kills people, Carl.
That's not okay. But again, I super agree with it causing psychological suffering. Like that's
psychological suffering. Yeah, absolutely.
There are people who like smarties. I have diagnosed myself as a dum-dum. Like I've already came out and said it.
I diagnose you with dumb.
As dumb. But like
same.
Smarties have read his manifesto and been like, he has valid points and he presents it actually pretty well. So you kind of, because this is all happening, you want it to be the ravings of some madman. But you're like reading this and you're like, oh shit. Oh, he's got a point.
No.
Oh no. But like, he's also killing people, so that's a problem. So they publish the thing. Ted has a brother named David. And David's wife has been looking at this Unabomer shit and she's like, that sounds like Ted. And David's like, no. And
no.
She's like, no, it really does though. I've heard him rant. And David's like, it's
Your
not.
Your brother's kind of crazy.
And then they post the manifesto and she's like, read this motherfucking thing and tell me that's not Ted. And David reads it and he's like, ooh.
Okay, would you be able to identify something that I wrote?
I think if you were as like, it sounds like he was saying the same shit over and over and over again for like the past 20 years.
Okay, so if it was about a subject that I had been talking about for the last 20 years, you might be able to
if you like
to identify.
They were using he saw phrases that like, and David had to dig up like old letters from Ted that had the same phrases in them that were like, I don't remember the phrases, but they were very specific. And David read it and he was like, oh, yeah, that's Ted. So they published the manifesto. And David is like, now I have to say something to someone. Thanks, wife. And
thank you, my beloved wife.
God damn it. Now I gotta turn in my flesh and blood. David tells the FBI and they're like, yeah, everybody is saying it's their brother. We don't care. So David's like, oh, okay. So David was so sure, he hires a private investigator to look into whatever Ted's been up to in his little crazy shack in the middle of nowhere. And the private investigator gives him a bunch of evidence. He gets his own attorney, and the attorney gives it to the FBI like, but look at this though. And the FBI is like, oh yeah, it's probably him though.
Oh no.
Oh man. So also one of the reasonings was like, so have you ever heard of Waco?
Yes.
So the only thing that you really need to know is that Waco has happened. And it is basically an FBI siege on a compound of people who were like living their own lives and like not really agreeing with the government or other people. And they were like maybe stockpiling weapons. Some people thought, whatever.
They maybe kind of were sort of whatever.
I don't know all the specifics because I haven't done my research on it, but the basics is it ended in a shit ton of bloodshed because the FBI raided this compound and killed a shit ton of people. And Ted's family is now like, hey, please don't raid Ted and kill him. If we give you all this evidence ahead of time, you can kind of get in front of it and like not horribly kill our son.
And not kill my child.
So they're trying to get ahead of it and they're giving him all this information. David really wanted to be anonymous because he's like turning his brother into the FBI. But there was a leak in the CBS News, posted his name and everything. They doxed him. And
oh my God.
He was like, oh shit. So they outed him, which sucks, but you know, you did the right thing, David. They arrest Ted at his cabin in April 3rd of 1996. His cabin is filled with shit to make bombs, journal entries on making bombs, and description of the Unabomber crimes. And they also find the manifesto.
So quite damning.
They're like, yeah, this is probably the Unabomber.
Yeah, you guys think this is the Unabomber?
I have a feeling. So the Unabomber is one of the most expensive investigations in the FBI's history. They spent $50 million throughout the course of the investigation to find him. Probably because it was over almost 20 years. Ted pled guilty on January 22nd, 1998. He got life in prison without the possibility of parole, multiple life sentences, that whole dealio. And then he's kind of been in prison forever, just doing his own thing. And then June 10th, 2023, he was found dead in his cell. He was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. And officials at this time are saying it was a suicide. He died at the age of 81. So that just happened a couple days ago now, about 3. And that is the story of the Unabomber.
Huh.
So that's that. Kind of a weird one.
The Unti-bomber.
Yeah. I did not know his name was an acronym at all.
I also didn't.
Oh, also, we have a story from our editor.
Ooh, yeah. Before we do that, can we quick pause? I have to potty.
Oh, okay. All right. So, since we had that very sad story of people getting maimed, we have a nice, fun story that's chill to kind of ease the mood a little bit. And this got sent over by our editor, Patrick.
Thank you, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. Okay. I'm reading it. So.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. Godspeed. Okay. So, this story has, nothing to do with my siblings, but more to do with my dad and I. I was on my way to pick him up from the airport in Austin, Texas. I had already been driving for an hour and 40 minutes, so I was in full chill mode. I was listening to music. I didn't feel my foot getting heavy or anything. I thought I was fine since people were still passing me, but it wasn't until I passed a motorcycle cop and looked down to see I was doing 80 in 65 zone. Unfortunately,
been there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I drive a bright blue car, so I was easy to be picked out of the crowd. He turned on his lights. I pulled over and gave him my ID. He looked at it, stopped, and said, "Is your dad OC?" My dad has the weirdest superpower of just happening to know everyone. Not only did he know my dad, I knew him. When I was in elementary school, I was sent to an alternative school for being a not good, very bad boy. It was it was mandatory for a parent to pick me up from school, and because of that, my dad worked late hours. I was always the first one there and the last one to leave. Every day I hung out with the security guards there. He gave me the funny pages from the newspaper every day. And 17 years later, he pulls me over for speeding. We shoot the shit a bit. He writes me a warning. I pick up my dad from the airport, and I hand him the warning and it says, Mario says hi. He busted out laughing, saying that Mario was the only officer he knew out there. And what are the odds? I still have the warning and I'm going to get it framed. So that was Pat's story. He got it from last week. We were talking about me getting pulled over and you also getting pulled over.
I'll say thank you, Pat, for telling us about how you got a warning and I got shit. I'm just kidding.
You just have to know people.
I generally do. No, but that honestly, that's
really
a great story. That's a great story, Pat. Thank you for sharing it with us.
It was really good. Also, it reminds me a lot of Logan because we went to the same college and we'd get lunch and we'd walk around and talk because we're best friends.
We are.
And Logan, it was so annoying because we'd walk around. We'd walk around and every 10 feet, someone would be like, Logan! And then they'd walk over and be like, how are you, you stupid bitch? And
you stupid bitch.
And I'd stand next to you like the awkward little sister, like, I don't know anyone here. And they would just talk to you like, oh, your brother's so cool. He just knows everybody. And who are you, you ugly little troll? And I'd be like,
Gretchen or whatever.
I don't like people. It happened constantly.
Is that? It was Gretchen, right?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
When Pascal came up.
Oh my God, that hurt my feelings so bad. So, okay. This is going to divulge into a sibling story.
So thank you, Pat. I don't know if we've shared this one on our podcast before. But thank you, Pat
has
for
unlocked something.
Yeah, he unlocked a primal thing.
So, Logan had this friend in the drama department named Pascal, and he's
like a big deal. He's a big deal now. Like he is on Broadway.
Oh, he's a big deal. What?
He's on Broadway. He's doing shit.
He was hot. Everybody knew him.
He was very attractive.
He just to tell you how attractive he was. So they did Legally Blonde. He was Warner, the hot, uncool boyfriend in the beginning of the movie. So he was typecast because he was cute. Anyway, I know Pascal because I watched Legally Blonde, and he knows Logan because everyone knows Logan. And he comes up to me in the food court one day, and I've met him multiple times because I'm
there too. I'm there with you.
I've stood next to Logan multiple times when they've talked and said nothing because I'm an unlikable bitch. But
you're not unlikable, you bitch.
I have that face. That face people don't seem to like. And he just is like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Is your name Gretchen? And I was like, oh, that hurts.
No, it was something, I swear to God, it was something along the lines of, I was like, oh, hi, Pascal. This is my sister, McCall.
Yes.
And he's like, and I swear he said something like, no, I've met you before. I swear I thought your name was Gretchen.
Yeah.
And that's where,
it was a little bit more hurtful. Yeah, it was...
It was very much of I thought your name was Ugly Bitch.
God, you are so unforgettable.
Look at that nose.
Ow.
It can't hurt because we have the same nose.
It can still hurt. It's still true. God damn it.
We've got witch noses.
We have, which I like it. I think it's fun.
I've come to like it. Especially when I started doing drag, I was like, this nose, what am I ever gonna do? And I finally just realized I'm like, what the fuck ever?
Honk honk.
Honk. Oh my God, did I tell you the last drag show I was at? I was walking out and I did the shoes. I did the number shoes.
Yes.
And I was walking in, I had this $20 blonde bang wig on. Cause I was going for the realist of Kelly for the music video, but I also kind of went slutty. So
a honey Kelly.
Well, I hiked up the skirt and I had a jock strap on and I walked out and this guy grabbed my arm and was like, hey sweetie, where you going? And I was in the I was like, not like in like a way where I was like trying to like, I just was literally like, hello? Like, I was doing like the Vine. Like, I was like, hello? I was like, excuse. I think what I said was like, excuse me, I'm going to get a drink.
Sir.
Because it's like, it was very much like a, oh, you're looking for
honey.
No, it was like a, oh, you just want the bells and the whistles. You want the wig and you want the heels. Like, you're not really.
I am so excited for your drag show coming up, by the way.
Yes, if you are in Minnesota on the 24th of June, at the Poor House, we are going to be having a drag show, and it's going to be so super fun. It's going to be hosted by my good friend Tyler.
Yes.
AKA MC Rar. There's going to be so many amazing performers, including my other good friend Christine, as well as many of my other good friends whose names I don't have pulled up right now.
My closest of friends.
Well, no, because I know they're real. I know their names. I don't know their performance names. So I feel bad. I don't want to like be like, hey, it's going to be Bob and Tim. It's like, no, it's like, I want to
Bob and Tim are going to be there?
No, it's like, we have other, I have the thing. We have other fantastic performances by Alexandra Rocks, girl number 3. That's me. Host MC Rar, I've already said. We have Tits Palmer.
I love that name.
Saint Rain. And Maxi. Oh, and also Splash. Splash was recently added to the cast.
Nice. All right. I'm going to be in the front row, screaming, loving it,
and
so
probably
excited.
Drunk.
Very drunk. Yes, that's me.
I still love that picture of like me like going to like there's like a picture they took, and it's like it's very clear like you. I think. Who else was there with you? Was it Casey?
It was Kelly. Probably.
Kelly. Yes, it was Kelly. And like my other one of my coworkers that I don't think you even knew was standing next to you, but they were standing right next to you too. And so it was like,
that's my sister.
My sister.
I became unhinged. It started, and I was like, Wah!
It was so fun because that stage is so fun. Like I've never, as a drag queen, felt more like a rock star on the stage. Like people were like reaching, they were like grabbing at me to the point where I was like, yo. Like,
okay, back off.
I did have one girl, so sweet. I accidentally lost some jewelry and she brought it back because she could have kept that ring, but she didn't.
She didn't.
I've learned that for that number, I have to not wear jewelry that could fall off because
What are you doing?
Well, you know, when I do get down, I do like Queen of Hearts where I lose my temper and I start to pitch a fit and I lose my bracelets and my rings and my necklaces and they break. Like they all have broken now. And I feel bad because they were all nice. And I hate it.
I hate it.
I hate it. Oh, well.
But yeah, we have gotten to the point where I should do my spiel, which I should do.
No, they loved listening to me blabber on.
They love us. It's great. We're awesome.
I was just telling someone earlier that like one of the things we like is we like the idea of just like feeling like you're sitting down and listening to us gab and shoot the shit.
We're just chatting. And
that's what we go for.
We should. I love the idea of you chatting with us if you would so choose. You can also just listen. That's cool. I just listen to all the podcasts I listen to. But if you want to send us your stories, your sibling stories, your funny moments that you'd like to shout out someone that you know or whatever, you can send us an email. We have an email for Living Scary. Oh, God. Got it. livingscarypodcast@gmail.com and livingvicariously@gmail.com if you would like that. We are on Twitter, we're on Tumblr, we're on YouTube, Facebook, some other third thing is Instagram. That's what it is. Dad, we're everywhere. We're everywhere you look. I'm there. I'm sitting there saying, follow me, do it, DM me, do it. So
I'm waiting for you.
I refresh. I check every day. So send us your shit. Tell me that you like me. Just say it. Anyway.
Do you love me now?
But yeah, Logan, you should take us out.
Oh, Wally. I don't know. Screaming in Sanskrit.
I'm out. It's almost episode 98. I don't care.
I also found the episode. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. We should plug that we're almost at episode 100.
We're almost at it, you guys. Tell your friends. Tell your loved ones. Shake them by the shoulders.
So it'll be, here's how we'll go out. 100. Oh.
But really 98.